In the last video, the car on the left, the Tamiya TB04, was surprisingly faster than our race car, the Xray T4 2018. That surprised me because number one, this is a shaft car, and number two, it's a tub car, tub chassis, and number three, it's a Tamiya. Not too many people race Tamiya nowadays in the modified class. So these are running 5.5 turn motors. And so what I did is I took a lot of measurements when I came home to try to find out what the possible reasons are from a physics or discrepancy point of view, and I found some things. The first thing is the main difference was my driver said this car felt more precise to drive. And in theory, it's normally when the front is narrower in terms of the width. That gives more precise steering in my experience. So when I took a measurement, the width for this one is 180. What do you call it? 180 millimeters. And this one was around 182. So it's wider by 2 mm. So for me, that's probably the primary reason why this felt more precise in terms of the steering. Now, still this car was 0.2 per second faster than this. So 13.5, 13.7 on that day we were testing. Another thing I found, this is shorter. This is 256 in terms of wheelbase. And this is 260 mm in terms of wheelbase. So this is longer by 4 mm. It should, that one I'm not so sure if it's shorter, longer, but usually shorter might be more agile, while longer might be more stable, but at the same time give faster corner speed because of the stability. So that one, I'm not sure which one is better. But since this felt stable, even with a shorter wheelbase, then that should be an advantage. So what did I really find? In the track, we have a quick chicane, and my daughter and I immediately noticed that this car was really faster than this on the chicane. So it's like a big transition, and I think it's primarily due to this modification I did where I put the weight of the shocks inwards, whereas this one, the shock is still behind the shock towers. And I think that makes a difference in transitioning. So this car transitions left, right quicker than this one. Now, the other thing my driver mentioned was she felt this car had more traction. So in terms of weight, it turns out this is 1,350 grams. And this one is 1,310 grams. So heavier by 40 grams, which is probably why it had more traction. And then in terms of then the weight distribution front to rear, both were the same. 49% front, 51% rear. Not much difference there. But I did try to measure the center of gravity. I'll show it later in this video. Wherein this one actually had a lower CG than this one. Probably because, number one, the weight is down low with the heavy tub chassis. Number two, this one has no shock towers, so it's pretty low, although it looks the same as the Xray. So I guess the tub chassis brings the weight lower. Yeah. So what else did I find? I think those are the main reasons why this car was slightly faster than this one. So I'm really happy to see a shaft drive Tamiya tub chassis go faster than our tried and true Xray. So this one, I think you see in the past videos, has won quite a few of our open class racing. And yeah, so this one is nice to see it's performing well, you know, straight from my modifications. So coming race this Saturday, we'll be using this just to give it a race experience and see how it does in racing and in dicing, and hopefully we do well. Yeah, so those are the things that I think helps with the faster lap times: the lower CG, the slightly narrower front width, and maybe the shorter wheelbase, and putting the weight more in between the front and rear wheels to make it faster in the chicanes. Other than that, cambers and roll centers are pretty similar. The droops are pretty similar. The length of the camber links are similar, and so on. So those are the things that I could see were, you know, there were real difference. The dimension of the car and the weight, the low CG and slightly heavier weight, which gave a little more traction. Maybe I should increase the weight of this car by 40 grams to see if it goes faster with more weight, especially on our medium grip track. Maybe that extra weight helps it go faster. All right, thanks for watching. Hopefully this helps give you some idea of how to also make your car go faster. All right, so watch till the end, so you'll see me do some weight balance measurements and this how I did how I measured the center of gravity between these two. All right, peace. All right, so this is also my tilt machine. To find the difference between the TB04 and Xray, I use this to measure the center of gravity to see if there's a big difference between the two cars. And so for the TB04, the angle before it starts to tilt over is at 73.9 degrees. Now for the Xray T4 2018, surprisingly, it had a higher CG than the TB04 by just about 1 degree. I guess the low CG mods I did on the TB04 was very effective. It was lower in CG compared to the Xray. I removed the front shock tower, lowered the wires, and yeah, seems to work. Yeah, to find the difference why the TB04 is faster than the Xray, I took the weight balance on 4 wheels using the old school analog weighing scales. And so it comes out that the total weight is around 1,350 grams, and the weight bias is 49% front, 51% rear.